Good morning. So I know a bunch of y'all are stuck at home with your children's trying to figure out how to do anything at all. And there's been a lot of focus on all their reading and writing and their math. So I figured I'd help y'all with some art projects. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Mrs. Mims. I've been teaching 17 years, kindergarten through 5th grade. And I'm just going to bring you guys a couple art projects as often as I can. And I'm going to try and do some things that are simple. Hopefully you have them around the house. And anything that I mentioned that you may not have, I'm going to try and find ways to adapt so that, you know, if you weren't able to go out and buy any art products beforehand, because really who was thinking about that, you might have other things around the house that you can do real simply with your kids at home to kind of keep them occupied in the next coming weeks while you're stuck at home with them. Or even hold these videos later on in the summer when they're driving you a little crazy. You got some rainy days. Today is really rainy outside. So, you know, they need something to do. Well, today is St. Patrick's Day, so I have a little bit of a St. Patrick's theme project for you, and I hope that you guys like it. It's kind of a sun catcher. Oh, I hear my daughter coming. She wants to see what Mom's doing. I've got a 7-year-old myself, so there she goes in the background. You know, life just keeps going. Thank you. And so this is kind of like a little sun catcher. Now, I know not everybody celebrates St. Patrick's Day or, you know, recognizes holidays. So certainly as we're going, we could change this little shape into anything that you want to by the end. So this is just the finished product. And what we've done to create this, the rainbow in the center was created with a simple coffee filter. So, drank a lot of coffee and you've got a couple laying around, you can do that. If you've got any old tissue paper from Christmas time, someone just had a birthday, there you go. It's a good way to get rid of it. And so I have another one here that I've already colored, all done up, and I just did it in the rainbow formation. And if you've got some little ones at home, it's a really good time to review with them what the rainbow is. Mr. Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. It goes right in order. And I have studied that with all of my little ones. We tried to start in kindergarten. We haven't been able to get to that yet. We've been interrupted. But my first graders already know it. And so as they go up in the grade level, we do emphasize this quite a bit, that the rainbow is a pattern. And, you know, you can kind of segue that and look up some other stuff online. With prisms and rainbows, with it being rainy, that's kind of a good way for you to go out and maybe look for rainbows later on, or what have you. But I've already got this guy colored. I used just some regular washable markers. You want the washable ones. Any brand will do. I have Nav Crayola sitting here. Not everybody has watercolor markers sitting around. If you've got some food dye, you don't have to sit and color this all nice and pretty like that. You could take some food dye, put it in a little cup, take your filter and just kind of dip it in, and the food dye will color nicely onto your filter or your tissue paper, and just let it sit. I got this looking so nice and opaque looking, kind of washed and blended together by taking a spray bottle. And I just kind of soaked it. Please have a piece of paper sitting underneath. Any old scrap piece that you have will do. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. I just have this old piece of brown paper. If you've got some old newspapers. Like everybody wants to be on camera. That's my cat, Frida. Hi, baby girl. What you doing? And I spray it down. And when I do that, that's going to kind of wash out your colors. It's going to let your rainbow blend together. Give me my glue. I need that. Actually, when it's so bright like this, or if you don't do them in the order, it gives it more of a tie-dye effect. I did it like a rainbow. You can kind of go from the middle and out, so it looks more like a tie-dye effect. That's up to you. But to save us time, so if you don't have a spray bottle, you know, you get a little bowl of water, just kind of. That works too. But you're going to want to let it dry. It dries pretty quickly. what coffee filters do. While it's drying, set it aside. Now I've got myself a piece of paper here to make my little shamrock shape. And my kids always think that this is going to be the hardest thing in the world to make. But if you look, it's like 3 basic heart shapes kind of put together. Not that hard if you know how to make a heart. And if you're not into St. Patrick's Day, or since St. Patrick's Day is over already tomorrow, and you want to make a different shape, knock your socks off. You can make just a regular heart if you so desire. If you want to make like a little cloud or a little flower, you know, just go ahead. Whatever your beautiful little heart desires, whatever your kids want. And then I cut the shape around it. So here's how I did that part with the paper. What do you want? Now my dog is whining. See this? I don't have to worry about this stuff at school. You have just as much interruptions at home. Stay-at-home parents. Look, I can't do homeschooling. I'm getting interrupted just as much being here as I am at school when the kids are like, Ms. Mims, Ms. Mims. Except this time it's my animals. I don't even know, y'all. So I'm going to... What am I doing? I'm folding the paper. What you want? Hi. See? Interruptions. Isn't this not? And so it fits properly. What I kind of do is I'm just going to mark my little circle. Boom. Boom. Thank you for letting the dog out. And I just made a couple little tick marks so I know where my circle is. This way I don't make it too big. I mean, I've still got a little hole right there. No big deal. So I'm going to make my shamrock a little smaller. And I'm just kind of making a little, adjusting it.
Why do you have that?
I just sprayed that. You've done a project like this with me. Shh. You're so crazy. I'm going to start with a little heart shape here at the top. But I'm not going to close it in. I'm going to draw darker than I normally do. So, then I'm going to come back out. I'm going to make more of a heart. You do realize I'm working, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I've gotten it to fit right inside my little tick marks that I made so that I'm not cutting something bigger. You don't have to cut the separate shape. It's not really a big deal. I just did. If you want to keep your paper whole, that's fine. And then it's much easier to color while you still have the shape on here before you cut it out. So if your kid goes outside the lines at all, you know, you can cut off any messy part. It doesn't have to be green. Again, if you've decided to cut some other little shape like a heart or flower, you make like a little Easter egg because that'll be coming up before we know it. And hopefully we're not all stuck inside the house. But and just cut while it's still in half here. And then, of course, you would have had the other side colored. When your circle is dry, you will place it inside. You will glue it. And you will be left with all of this gorgeousness that you can hang up on a window and enjoy for the rest of your season or however long your child allows you to keep it hung up. Right? Yes. I take all of her art and I display it on our kitchen cupboards. You can kind of see a little bit right back there. The rest is kind of hidden behind the kitchen door now because she let the dog out. But, you know, this one looks really nice, especially when there's a little bit more sun, and hopefully there's supposed to be today. But thank you.
Okay, now I can see it.
So I hope you enjoy this project. If you do it, let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. And, you know, this is kind of the first time trying to teach online. I'm very much used to having these little faces in my face. And, Miss Mims, how do you do this? How do you do that? But I'll be happy to kind of guide y'all along and do whatever we need to do. And if you like them, I'm going to throw up a few more. And if not, well, I'm going to throw up a few more anyhow. And kind of perfect my crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'll see y'all later. Have a good day.